a US citizen living here now with tax obligations in the US, of course. What do people need these tax advisors for now at this point? The student is no longer just receiving information. Clearly, color of my skin is not helping. So this is mango soft mango juice with soda. It's a pretty kind of famous thing here in Austria. AI has changed the game. Physicians are often treated as gods. It's not acceptable in the society to challenge a doctor or to question a doctor. I would call it the great equalizer because
DNA polymerase synthesizes the new strand only in the 5' to 3' direction. Let's see how this works.
But ChatGPT explains this differently.
think about what you just saw. There is a student questioning a professor because apparently ChatGPT gave her a different explanation. I think 3 or 4 years ago, that interaction would have been almost unimaginable. And I think that tiny interaction actually captures something much bigger that is happening right now. We hear constantly about AI taking people's jobs, and that's an enormously important question. Some jobs, I think, are going to disappear and are already disappearing. Others will change dramatically, and we are already beginning to see that happen, right? But that's not the question I want to explore today. I want to talk about the people whose jobs remain: the professor, the physician, the lawyer, the engineer, the tax advisor. What happens to them when the person sitting across from them suddenly has access to an extraordinary amount of knowledge? Because AI isn't only changing which jobs exist, it's changing what we expect from the people who still do them. And I think the bar for being considered an expert is about to become much higher. Not because ChatGPT is always right, actually it is not, and not because professors or physicians or lawyers suddenly know less than they did before. What has changed is the person on the other side. For the first time, a student can listen to a professor and almost immediately ask AI, right? Is what my professor told me correct? Can you explain it differently? What does the evidence actually say? And if the answer still doesn't make sense, the student can keep asking. There is no limit. That kind of capability simply didn't exist a few years ago, and that should worry mediocre professors, mediocre physicians, mediocre lawyers, mediocre tax advisors, engineers. Because until very recently, professionals had an enormous advantage. They knew something you did not, and more importantly, they controlled the explanation. If your professor explained something, that was the explanation. If your physician explained your diagnosis, that was it. You had to go with it. If your lawyer told you what a contract meant, you probably accepted it, because how exactly were you supposed to check? Today, that monopoly is disappearing. When I was doing my master's, which was about 20 years ago, research meant going to the library. Physically you have to go to the library. You found the journal, you had to find then the paper, then you had to photocopy it, then you had to take it home, and then you read it. That was simply how research worked. Then, as we know, the internet arrived. Suddenly the library was on my computer. That alone changed science forever. But AI has taken that to another level. The internet helped me find information. AI helps me understand it. And those are different things. Until only a few years ago, you could have one question and suddenly have I don't know, like 10 browser tabs open, one with a scientific paper, another with Wikipedia, maybe a university website, probably YouTube as well, a blog, another paper, another website, and then you had to figure out which explanation actually made sense, right? It was not intuitive. Today you can simply ask, explain this to me, I don't understand. Now imagine being a student today. Your professor explains and you don't understand it, you ask AI, explain this to me in a way I can understand. If you're still confused, you can ask again, explain it differently. maybe you think the professor got something wrong. So you can ask AI, is this actually correct? What does the evidence say? And within minutes, literally, you can go back into that classroom with a much better understanding of that subject, of that topic, and with much more confidence. The student is no longer just receiving information, right? I think the student can now question it with confidence, and that fundamentally changes the relationship between students and professors. So a few weeks ago, I was in Graz, which is my hometown now, for almost a year and a half, and there is a famous hill in the middle of the city. It's called Schlossberg. So I was there, and I was just holding my camera just like this, and I was taking an image, or making probably a video, or something. And somebody happened to be in my background, and that was a couple, a little aged couple. So yeah, this couple, they walked to me and they interrupted me, and they said to me, "Hey, by the way, you cannot take a video or an image, with us in the background." Then I said, well, I think that's not the case, because if that was the case, nobody will be able to make a video at tourist places or take a picture at tourist places. But they kept kind of arguing with me, Then they said, yeah, but this is Austria. In Austria, you have these privacy laws, and you cannot do that. And I was like, okay, clearly, color of my skin is not helping. So I had my phone in my hand, of course, and then I opened ChatGPT and I asked this specific question. And then I showed them the response also. The amazing thing is ChatGPT gave me an exact article of the Austrian law, which clearly states that something like this is not prohibited. Now, the beauty of using AI is that, of course, one can do, Google search or something, but when you use AI, you can get a tailored answer, and you are not left to kind of interpret things by yourself, right? And I think that really makes things much easier. Yeah, vielen Dank.
Bitteschön.
So I just got my drink here. Let's see what we got here. So this is mango juice with soda. So pretty kind of famous thing here in Austria. So yeah, getting back to that story. Clearly, having AI at your disposal at any moment, at any time of the day or night, really changes the complexion. So I showed it to them, I read them the article, and then they were a bit embarrassed. That was certainly not my intent to embarrass them, but yeah, they kind of got the message and then they went away. Last year, my dad passed away, in India, and me and my brother. So I'm in Austria right now, as you know. My brother lives in the U.S. So we were in India, of course. So yeah, me and my brother, we went to India, and after a week or so, my mom told us that her local physician, who's actually not a cardiologist but still a specialist of internal medicine or something, I guess, he told my mom that she needed to get urgently an angiography, which is just kind of an invasive procedure. It's not kind of a trivial thing, like doing an ECG or echocardiogram or something. And it was a bit surprising because my mom did not have any history of any, cardiac or heart issues. But yeah, of course, it can happen. You don't necessarily need to have a history. But she's in good shape. She's in good health. So I decided to take her ECG, based on which this physician recommended angiography, urgent angiography. And I uploaded this to ChatGPT, and I also described, how my mom is doing, and what her general health status is, if she has had any history or whatnot, and what medication she is taking. So ChatGPT looked at it, and it said, based on this, I don't think there is any urgent or compelling reason to right away go for angiography, which was kind of interesting. And then we discussed this among ourselves, me, my brother, and my mom. And the ChatGPT also suggested maybe you should get another opinion. So we went to see a cardiologist who performed the ECG and echocardiogram, which is called echo, I believe, in short. So based on that, he told us, if it was my mom, I will not do angiography. So it has been more than a year, almost a year. She's doing very well. I think in the meantime she has done additional ECGs. Every 6 months I think she does it. So I guess the message is that AI has changed the game. Especially in a country like India, where there is such hierarchy, where physicians are often treated as gods, and you just cannot challenge them. It's not possible. It's not acceptable in the society to challenge a doctor or to question a doctor. So I think that has changed now, and I think it is very important, because people should be empowered to understand what is happening to them, what is happening to their body, what is being recommended. And for example, in this case, if we did not have ChatGPT or AI in general, I think we would have probably gone by the recommendation of this physician and done angiography for no good reason. So I think this is certainly a revolution. I see it this way. I think it's really a revolution, because never in the history we had seen this technology that was such an equalizer. I would call it the great equalizer, because knowledge is accessible to anybody as long as you know how to speak or how to ask a question. Knowledge is literally in front of you. You can discuss a situation, you can discuss any topic you want. You can, again, we could do that right also with Google, but with Google you know how the things worked. So walking down this promenade, I think it's pretty nice here, or you can see. So getting back to this this AI topic, I mean, imagine a few years ago, it would be unimaginable to do Swiss taxes and Austrian taxes by yourself. You know, it would be super complicated, especially when you are a US citizen living here now with tax obligations in the US, of course, as US citizens, as you know. The US is one of the 2 countries in the world where one of the only 2 countries in the world where their citizens and even green card holders are required to file taxes, tax returns, and declare all their worldwide income in the US. So anyways, yeah, so we were able to do that on our own. Not only could I do these taxes myself for me and my wife, but also in the process understand how it really works. So that goes to show, I mean, normally I would go to a tax advisor or tax guy and pay him like $1,000, €1,000 just for doing Austrian taxes, and then probably similar or even more for the Swiss ones. And now I can use Gemini or ChatGPT to help me go through this tax return step by step. I mean, it's incredible. So what do people need these tax advisors for now at this point? I mean, okay, if you are super rich and you don't have the time to do your taxes yourself, you will just hand over all your documents to a tax guy and he will handle everything. But yeah, for normal people, for most people, this is certainly a game changer. This is just another example, right? So finally, this is what I would say. AI is not automatically right. In fact, AI can be spectacularly wrong. So don't blindly trust the professor, don't blindly trust the physician, and don't blindly trust AI either. The point is not to replace one authority with another. The point is that ordinary people have a powerful tool to question. They have a powerful tool to understand and verify what they are being told. And that raises the bar for experts. A degree, a title, or a position of authority is not enough anymore, because the person sitting across from you may be much better informed than you expect. AI is not ending expertise. AI is ending the monopoly on explanation. And with it, the era of unquestioned authority. So when somebody tells you, hey, trust me, don't automatically assume they are wrong, but don't automatically assume they are right. Ask, question, verify, think. And yes, that includes AI. Because perhaps the greatest thing AI gives us is not the answer. It is the ability to ask a better question. I am Gaurav Patria. This is the Global Scientist. Question everything.